Okay, so one of the coolest things about emotion is the fact that we are able to really well detect emotions that other people are experiencing. And the way that we're able to do that is we are actually really good at reading a lot of nonverbal cues for emotion. We are really good at reading facial expressions. We're good at reading body language, and we're also good at reading vocal intonations. Now, of these three nonverbal clues for emotion, facial expressions are going to be the most important. And so we're going to spend the most time looking at how do we detect facial expressions, and then what do we do with our faces in order to express different different emotions. Sorry. So, looking at the variety of facial contortions that one can make, we can easily see how we're able to express the variety of emotions that we're feeling. We have very expressive faces. There are so many different muscles involved in making any facial expression, and all of those muscles can be combined in a variety of different ways. And so this allows us to express all of the emotions that we're feeling. Now, not only are we able to detect emotion based on facial expression, but we're able to best detect certain types of emotion. For example, we're really the best at deciphering negative emotions, anger being the one that we're most primed to notice. And the reason for that makes evolutionary sense. It makes sense that we can more easily detect anger than any other emotion, because if someone is expressing anger at us, that might be an immediate threat to our survival. As opposed to if someone's surprised to see us or if someone's happy, those things are interesting and when we can detect them. But if someone's surprised to see you or happy to see you, they're probably not going to try to stab you the next second. As opposed to if someone's really, really angry with you, the amygdala, the threat response system, is thinking, oh no, they're angry, they might try to attack us. And so, sort of as an example of that, if you look at the series of faces that I'm going to toggle you between a couple of times, you'll be able to see that there are two different faces being presented. And if we look at them side by side, we can see here that there's an angry face, and we can see here that there's a happy face. And research has shown that when these are presented to participants in a lab, in a little bit more of a controlled situation that we have going here, they're just looking at a screen and it's flashed almost subliminally, imperceptibly. People are way more likely to notice the angry face, and they're way quicker to notice the angry face as opposed to the happy face. Just showing this fact that we're best at deciphering negative emotions and even more so at anger. Now, that being said, our experience also sensitizes us to notice certain emotions. And so here we see a series of faces that have been arranged from full anger to full fear. And so every single slide, we are subtly changing from 100% anger to 100% fear. So that middle face is scientifically the perfect blend between anger and fear. And so for most normal participants in a study, they would be half as likely to rate that as an angry face as a scared face. And so it's sort of a 50-50 chance which one they'll say. However, if you show that face to children from abusive households, they are more likely to perceive that face as angry. And so they will not show a 50% likelihood of saying that it's angry versus saying that it's scared. They're more apt to err on the side of anger. Why? Well, their experience has primed them and has sensitized them to notice those first small indications of anger, because if they can notice anger a little bit earlier, they might be able to avoid situations where abuse might happen. So this is an unfortunate example, but an example of how experience can sensitize us to the emotions that we're able to notice. Now, what areas of the face are we really looking at when we're determining emotion? We're going to be focusing on the eyes and on the mouth. And you can see here a couple of different eyes are being presented and a couple of different mouths are being presented. And what we really look at is we look at the eyes for emotions of fear and anger, and we look to the mouth especially for emotions such as happiness. Now, all of them work in concert and they all work together, but the eyes tend to be the best indicator of fear and anger, and the mouth the best indicator of happiness. Now, building off of that idea of the fact that the mouth is the best indicator of happiness, we all know what facial expression is associated with happiness. And that facial expression is going to be a smile. However, what's interesting is that we're able to smile with genuine emotion behind it, but we're also able to smile and fake a smile. And for those of y'all who have ever had to hold a smile for a really long time in a photo, you know that by the end of the photo, you're not really happy anymore. You just have this grin plastered on your face in almost an uncomfortable way. And so there has been some research done on trying to ascertain the difference between a real smile and a fake smile. And then even going beyond that, trying to figure out what those really subtle and brief facial expressions mean, and whether or not we can look at someone's face, we can look at the involuntary twitches that they make and figure out what emotions they might be trying to conceal. And so this is a field called microexpression study. A really big researcher in this area is a guy named Paul Ekman. We're going to learn about him a little bit later as well. But microexpressions are facial expressions that don't last very long at all, maybe a second, if that. But they are an indicator into concealed emotions that are going on. And so if we apply it to this idea of smiles, there are two specific terms for a fake smile and then a real smile. We call a fake smile a feigned smile, and that's the kind of smile that you're putting on because you're in some sort of social situation that calls for it, or you're posing for a picture that's taking way too long. And then you have a real smile, which is called a Duchenne smile. So if you want to try to figure out which of these two smiles is my real smile, if we look at the next slide, I'm going to go to it now, we can see that my real smile is going to be this one here with the Duchenne that's indicated to the side of it. And the way that you can tell the difference between a feigned smile, a fake smile, and a Duchenne smile or a genuine has everything to do with the activation of your under eye muscles as well as the raising of your cheeks. I don't know if any of y'all ever watched way back when America's Next Top Model and Tyra Banks, but she used to talk about doing something that she called, she would call it either smiling with your eyes or smizing. And that is true, that a real smile activates your eye muscles in a way that a fake smile does not. Real smiles also tend to fade a lot quicker than fake smiles. Real smiles don't last very long at all, whereas a fake smile is going to definitely last longer. So